Well, hello there, folks. Hope you're all doing really good today. Me and old Gibson are out in the shop this morning. He's being a brat, as usual, getting into my stuff. Wants me to hold him and scratch his belly all the time. All right, Gibbs. We got to get to work, buddy. Okay. So, if you guys been following this little series, me and Gibbs took the fretboard off this one. This is my first guitar that we're working on here today, and so what I ended up doing, I took the fretboard off it, and if you guys have been watching, I did add another piece of steel rod in here, and I glued it in, and that's just to strengthen it. It already has a steel rod that starts about here and goes through the neck block and whatnot, or just above it through a brace. I think there's a brace right here somewhere. You can feel it kind of poking out through. It was non-adjustable. It's just, to stiffen it up. So I added another piece on top of that one and glued it in and filled some of this cavity up with glue too. Gibson. Here he goes. He does this to me every single day. If he doesn't get his attention, then he starts acting out and knocking stuff off the bench. Don't you, Gibson? Okay, so the next move is going to be to probably take this and I want to file this down so there's no metal sticking up. So when we put the fretboard back on it, we'll be in good shape. So the next thing I need to do is this. I'm going to clean the fretboard up. We pulled the fret wire out already, and we ran a straight edge from this point to this point, right up to the nut, to make sure everything was, flat and it's not folding itself in half. So we got a gap right here. There's a couple dowels in there. You can see one right there, kind of. So I'm going to make a shim up to put in here, and that will keep the neck from moving back this way, because I can move this joint right now as it is. So Gibson, stop it. So I think that's going to be the next move, is to clean up the fretboard, clean up this here, and make sure there's no metal sticking up there. And I'll get the neck angle where it should be, and we'll make some shims up for this joint and glue that right up solid. And when I do that, I think I'm going to glue the fretboard on at the same time, so it'll be a one-shot deal. And after that's done, I'll refret this after we get it all glued and mount it to the guitar again. You don't want to try to refret this like this. You'll snap that board right in half. This isn't ebony. It's some kind of painted hardwood, I think. So, to look like ebony. They did that a lot. So, we're getting there. And the other thing I'm going to do is probably try to fill in these big gouges that I cut in there in the bridge when I was young. Trying to get the action down. I took the bridge right out and just, we've all seen it. You cut into the wooden bridge and hope for the best. Anything to play guitar when you're that young, right? So we're looking pretty good, really, on this. It's actually coming out better than I thought, and I think it's going to be pretty straight, hopefully, when we get done. The top is sunk a little bit in the guitar. It could have been like that from the factory. We really don't know. So I guess the best thing to do, like I said, is to go across these 3 points. I'll show you once again, if Gibson's going to allow it. Okay, so we're hitting right here on the body. We're also basically touching right here. You can see there's a gap under here where the top is kind of sunk. Not a big deal. It's just an inexpensive guitar, and that stuff happens. this is nice and flat though, from the nut to here. And then from here to here, we know it's true because it has to be. I mean, unless, you know, one of these edges has raised up, which it doesn't seem to be the case. So that's the next plan of attack. I think we're pretty close to where it needs to be. So I think my next move is to probably get these shims in. And we'll glue the fretboard right on at the same time. Okay, so what I'm concentrating on here right now is just getting this rod flush down that I installed here. So far, so good. I did take some mahogany. I made a couple shims right here. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the sides, if I'm going to shim that in. I might not. I might just actually, we'll see. I might drive a shim in each side. It may not be visible when I'm done, but I'll probably just make that seam with glue mostly, because it's only this top section here. This hasn't actually even come apart from the guitar. So the neck angle looks pretty good right now. I like it where it is. Again, I'm just trying to clean up these edges a little bit. We're going to have to redo this when we, clean everything up good when we get the fretboard glued back on anyway, so it's not a huge deal. I got a shim that's a little high right there, so I'm just trying to make everything as good as I can get it as far as being flat. We don't want the fretboard popped up any more than we need it to, so that's getting there. You could use a chisel to do the same thing too. I'm just using a file because that's what I've been into today with, filing this steel down. So you can kind of hear the steel. There's a bump right there. Not bad though. Yeah, I think I could live with that. So the next thing we're going to probably need to do is clean up the bottom of the fretboard. Okay, folks. Well, excuse me. This isn't glued on, but I got it all cleaned up. There's a couple little places there, but they're going to go back into the original divot that come out. Same with this. I'm not cleaning this off. That material's still intact and good. So what we're going to do is glue it down and clamp it. Now, I held it down in place and sighted down the neck, and it's got a little slight bit of back bow, which is what I'm looking for. It's not a lot, but it's going to be just enough so when we string it up, the guitar should level out, maybe have a little relief. I'm not sure yet. We'll do what we have to do. We may have to make some adjustments, but what we're going to do here first, I got the fish glue out. Bench Q is the brand. It comes from Maine. I'm not sponsored by these people or anything, but it's a really good product, and it's a good price too, so it works really good. Keep it in the refrigerator and it'll last a long time. And just take it out, let it warm up a little bit, and you're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to let that warm up. We'll get this prepped up and ready to go, and we'll clamp the fretboard on. Okay, guys, so I dug some fish glue out of the bottle. It's still cold. That's what it's like. It's almost like a big ball of silicone. It's really sticky, and it just kind of clings together. In about 5 or 10 minutes, that'll melt, and it'll be just like liquid, like regular glue. I believe they make this out of sturgeon. The fish called the sturgeon. I'm not sure how the process works, but I think I read that somewhere. Anyway, let's let it warm up. And no, it doesn't smell like fish. It actually doesn't really smell that bad at all. Okay then, we got our fish glue all ready to go. As you can see, it's liquefied. really sticky and thick, but it will thin down a little bit as you start working it and it warms up. So what we're going to do is coat the neck itself, and I'm going to get these two wedges as well. That glue should actually hit those because I'm going to fill that cavity in anyway. And there's going to be two little voids on the heel here, just on the upper part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this, glue it down, and then let that glue cure. And then these two little voids on the side, I'm going to make a couple wedges for and fill that full of glue around the dowels that are existing there that they use to actually construct the guitar with. So I think that will work out just fine, and we'll just have a little cavity on each side to fill in. And this is all tight down here on the bottom, so we should be in good shape. So let's get to it. Okay, so I got a little fan brush here. You can use about anything. Put a good generous amount on. Don't be scared of it. You're going to get some squeeze out, and that's all good. This stuff cleans up really easy. Just, you know, a damp cloth, a little soap on it, and you're good to go. So this stuff really cures hard. I mean, it hardens. It's not like a soft glue. You don't want to use anything like that, any type of, like, you know, rubber cement or something. You want something that's going to be really solid to transfer the vibration really more than anything. So you don't want something that's pliable. It's just going to suck the sound and the vibration up, in my opinion. So I like to use this stuff. It works good and lasts a long time. And for the repairmen of the future, this is a good little thing for you guys. If you ever have to take a guitar apart, you know, I'm not using epoxy or anything like that, so it just comes apart a lot easier. You can rehydrate this and take it right apart. It's similar to high glue. You just don't have to heat this stuff up. You just warm it up if you keep it in the refrigerator, and that's about it. So we're going to coat the fretboard up here too a little bit, and get the clamps out, and we'll be good to go. All right. And like I said, don't be scared of the glue. Put some glue on it, you know. This stuff really starts to tack up quick, so you got to work pretty fast, but there is a pretty good work time with this. You know, you got 4 or 5 minutes anyway that you can move stuff around and make sure everything's lined up good. Okay, we're going to set her on there. Now, I did leave a little piece that was still hooked to the fretboard. And when I set this fretboard on there, I could feel it kind of lock in, just about like what I just felt right there. Okay, that's good. All right, let's get the clamps out and we'll get a cloth for the squeeze out. Okay, folks, we got a few clamps on, and I'm just trying to wipe out some of this excess glue that's squeezed out of the sides. You know, try to get what you can now. It doesn't hurt. And like I said, this will clean up pretty easy after the fact, but it's good to get most of it off if you can right now, while it's still kind of liquefied. Okay, so I'm just looking to see if there's any gaps underneath the fretboard here, and everything looks good. Another thing you want to do is just put your fingers on it and check it. Make sure it's not hanging out over the edge too far one way. Like I could just feel a little bit right there. I was able to move it, so that's good. The rest of this feels really straight and nice. So, maybe a little bit more up here. I'm just going to slide my clamp out by and let it kind of relax back to where I want it. And that feels pretty good. So just make sure everything's nice and straight, and again, wipe off the excess. See, I don't feel an edge sticking out here. I can feel a little edge there. It's not bad. I mean, this thing's been apart. Sometimes stuff will shrink up while you're working on it, so there's always that. I'm just using cork padding here on my clamps. And this is a safe clamp anyway, so I buy these drink coasters on whatever, eBay, I think. You get like 30 in a package. They work really good for this stuff, and you go through them all the time. But it's good. You can, glue them to your clamps and set up a bunch of clamps just for this stuff. You're good to go. At least keeps, the clamps from putting dents in your neck and scarring the finish. We're not really concerned about the finish on this one, but the dents, yeah, I don't like feeling dents on the back of the neck. So other than that, I think we're looking pretty good here. I am going to address the bridge sometime. I've thought about even making another bridge for it. We'll see. I may be able to salvage that one and do some drop fills and, build a dam on each side of it and fill these cuts in. Or I might even just leave them and put a saddleback in it. It's kind of a memoir of when I started working on guitars, right as a kid, actually. So, all right, guys. So I think we're going to put a pin in this one. Ain't much else we can do here. And we'll let this dry up, and then I'll make some wedges for the little void here on each side, and we'll glue that in, and we'll inject some glue into the heel, and we should be good to go. I do have a couple more little breaks and cracks to fix, so I think we'll do that next time when we get the glue out to do the heel. We'll fix all the cracks too. All in all, we're looking pretty good, guys. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. I should have this one finished up pretty soon, hopefully. I'll let this sit for about at least 8 hours or so before I start doing anything drastic to it. I probably won't mess with this anymore today. I may work on some other parts of the guitar. But that being said, thanks again for watching, and hopefully pretty soon we can listen to my very first guitar that I haven't heard in over 40 years. Should be pretty fun. Okay, guys, be good. We'll see you soon. Okie doke.